Yeah, bring him on. But okay, I'm finna say, do he get walking theme music? Okay then. Born to be wild. That's John, y'all. But hey, John, how you doing?
Lucretia, good seeing you.
Yeah,
Doing well. How are you doing?
pretty good. I'm just kind of nervous running for the NRA board this week. The NRA is in Atlanta. I'm running for the board of directors, and I'm kind of nervous this time around.
Well, why are you nervous? I mean, you're going to win this.
Let me tell you something. They have at least 8 other people on the actual ballot. So we're just going to do our best, John, and we're going to get down there. We're going to get in 50 feet from the ballot doors, from the voting booth, and we're just going to pass out flyers because we got 1,000 flyers for 250,000 people.
Whoa. Whoa.
We got 1,000 flyers for a quarter
Whoa.
of a million people that's coming to the NRA convention. So unless we raise some money during the show, we're going to have 1,000 flyers, and we just got to kick some ass, John. We have to kick some butt.
Well, let's donors open up your wallets. Let's get 1,000 to 10,000.
Tommy, he's telling y'all. Hi, Michelle, Mary, Trish, everybody. John, say, open up that purse and at least give like $300. $300. That is 2,000 flyers. We'll make that work. That'll be 3,000 flyers that we actually get out there and pass out at the NRA. But enough about me, John. How you doing?
$300.
Three
You
hundred
can do
dollars.
it.
We Cash app Lucretia Hughes
Cash
44.
out.
That's it. Or you can send it to John, and then John can send it to me.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
How you doing, John? Okay, because I know who you are, and I know your background, and I've done a lot. So, but everyone else, tell them a little bit about yourself, John.
Well, it's not so much about me, it's about our group at Go USA, and then what we're doing to save America. We're trying to be one of the elements that say no one by themselves is saving America, not even President Trump. It's thousands of people. I'd say it's millions, but it's really probably a few hundred people that are really doing the heavy lifting, like yourself, that are out there every day and working to save our country. So great seeing you again. I was
Hey,
at your place maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
yes, you was. That's why I said I know who you are, but some everybody. How you
Yes.
doing? Other than
So
that, I wanted to write some notes down when you start talking about this because I want people to be able to join or at least get more information so they can help save America also.
okay, great. So yeah, so thank you. And again, I'm John Paul Moran from Go USA. It stands for Grand Opportunity USA. In short, it's Go USA. We have a new kind of sister organization called Go United, Grand Opportunity United. That's a 501c3, tax deductible, a little bit different than the 501c4, but same overall mission. So I ran for Congress in 2020. I was the Republican nominee in the 6th District of Massachusetts. Have you ever heard of a guy named Seth Moulton? He's a Democrat from Massachusetts. He's what you would expect from a Democrat from Massachusetts.
Wait a minute, because
Total
how in
loser.
the
Communist,
world?
communist, progressive, child trans, everything. The guy is a complete loser. Actually, wait a minute. The one thing he agreed with us on that it looks like he woke up on was the transgender issue. Actually, that's one thing he woke up on. But everything else, the guy is completely out to lunch. So I ran against that guy, and I realized at that time, as a business owner and entrepreneur, I went in to say, let's just go fight these people in the bluest state in the country. Where, by the way, bluest state in the country. But you know what Saturday was, Lucretia? Do you remember? You know what Saturday was here in Massachusetts?
What is it? What was it?
Saturday was the 250th anniversary of the
The
day that
Boston Tea
started
Party.
everything.
Is it
The
the Boston Tea Party or the American Revolution?
the shot that was heard around the world.
Why y'all kill that black man? Why y'all kill
Right
that?
down the street, right down the street here in Lexington, Massachusetts, the first shot for the Revolutionary War that started everything. And if that didn't happen and we didn't win that battle, and the
We
people
wouldn't
from
be
my
here.
own hometown didn't fight that battle and win it, we might not even be talking right now. So that being said, there's a reason why they're called the Patriots. It's called Patriot Day on Monday. It's a state holiday. because we celebrate that. Can you believe the state that started everything is the most communist state in the country right now?
I would have never believed that because that's one of the 13 colonies. How in the world did it go? Well, number one, what man don't know the difference between a trans and a woman? You have to look at them suspect themselves. And then for him not to even try to stand up for children, but none of them stood up for women or children. So how all of a sudden this is the hill they want to die on is supporting and saving illegal criminals?
Yeah, it's totally insane. I mean, on the trans thing, it's you can. This is the way I say we thread this needle with the trans thing. Okay, if you want to express yourself as a boy or a girl, or as a flower, or as a meatball, or as an alien from Star Trek, you can do whatever you want. That's called the First Amendment freedom of expression. But that's the line is drawn when it comes to your biology. Your biology is male or female. It's in your cells. Your XY or XX. You either have male sex organs or female sex organs. It's as simple as science. That's it. And you have to accept the science of being male or female. If people just did that, and the trans people, actually, I know some trans people, and they agree with that. They say, I'm a trans man, a trans woman. I'm not an actual man, and I'm not trying to get into women's sports, and I'm not trying to go into women's shelters and women's prisons. They know that they're just feel better just presenting themselves different. I think that's a First Amendment right. But I don't think it's a First Amendment right to say you're an actual man when you're a woman, or you're actual when you're a man.
Or try to force
That's
us
BS.
to actually
It's
approve
insane.
of it. So with President Trump coming in and he's actually making that, he made an executive order. I wish some of this stuff he would make to law to where I wish he would mimic the UK. The UK just came out, what was this
That's
week?
right.
And just
The Supreme
admitted
Court.
it, yes, that they
The
are a
UK
male
Supreme
and a
Court.
female.
They're defined common sense. You're defined by your biology. You're not anti-trans by saying that because you can be for the rights of a person to express themselves any way they want as long as they're not intruding on someone else's rights, intruding on women's sports or women's prisons, or maybe there's sometimes where women acting like men are intruding on men. I know high school kids that don't want to wrestle a
Right.
female in wrestling. They're forced to. And they're like, I don't want to do that. That is not what I want to do. I want to wrestle a man, not a woman. So it works both ways. Obviously, usually it hurts women more. But the bottom
Thank
line
you.
is common sense science. And if
Okay,
people
then.
just follow the science, the UK was right. And it's not anti-trans. It's pro-sanity.
Now you're
And they
gonna
do
let's play a
it.
little bit of devil's advocate. What about less than the 1% of the human population and the human race? When you have hermaphrodites, do they get a special class, or do you wait until they decide what they want or to be, or do you wait until just put them in a separate class all by themselves?
Um, the hermaphrodites, I think there's a different term for it they use these days. What do they use? Intersex or something? But it's less than the actual true hermaphrodites are. I understand it's about 1 in 5,000,
Mm-hmm.
and then they say it's 1 or 2% that gets got that's intersex that's got some confusing details until someone grows a little bit more. It's simple as this: at birth, you're assigned. The doctor and the parents make the best decision, but you have to be assigned male or female. That's it. You can't have some middle ground. It's either you're male or female, you assign it, and then maybe when there's I'm talking about a fingernail clipping that big, one in very maybe one in a couple thousand, where you have to say, okay, maybe they can change their gender later because they have some unique condition. But that's an extreme exception. Even then, you're either male or female. You have to pick a lane. You have to say I'm a male or female for sports and for prisons and for everything else. You can't create a whole extra class of everything, bathrooms and showers and everything. So that's it. So I mean, it's such a rare circumstance that shouldn't be something that it creates a problem. It's not, the problem is not that one in 5,000 people. The problem is the fact that now 20 or 30% of kids that they say in some of these colleges don't know what gender they are anymore because everyone's being confused. They're being confused by this nonsense that you can pick your sex when you can't.
This is why when they say listen to the expert, listen to a scientist or someone with a college degree, I know more people with common sense and street smarts uh, uh, that it has more logic than anyone that ever went to college. I don't understand. College means nothing anymore. I don't. Just because they got a college degree doesn't mean anything at this point. And anybody that's coming from a college campus, yeah, I'm not so keen to taking their advice as I used to be, only because they're a little bit. They don't. They don't have any common sense. They don't even think they have book smart. If you got to college knowing that you are a girl, but all of a sudden you get in college and now you understanding that you are queer, trans, bi, 55, them, they, theirs. So basically you're calling yourself a demon.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I think so. There's a couple things. Obviously, there's certain things you need to. I mean, you can't be an engineer or a doctor or whatever. I mean, there's certain things you need to go to college for, but or at least get certified for, right? But not everybody, and certainly not schools that are schools. They used to be schools of education. Now they're primarily schools of indoctrination.
ooh,
It's terrible that that happened to our school system because when you think about it, in fact, we know my rating system I didn't have a chance to talk about yet. The OP score, the opportunity score at Go USA, we show that 85% of people actually agree with common sense pro-America principles. 85%. We have the numbers to prove it. I was in a podcast last week with a couple of Marxist lunatics. They were ripping it apart and going crazy. But the end of the day is the numbers are the numbers. They were so mad that I was like, oh, they said, well, you son, you're a right winger. I'm like, no, I'm a common sense 85%er. They were so mad about that. But the reality is, that's the reality. So when you look at it, the only way the left has any power at all, when they only have maybe 15% support of the United States population on the issues, which we've proven scientifically and through all of our work we did last year for the election, they have to lie, they have to cheat, they have to steal, they have to brainwash, they have to take over our institutions like Saul Alinsky. The Rules for
ooh.
Radicals said back decades ago, I wrote a book about that actually. And that's why now it makes sense why they had to they have to brainwash kids in college and now in high school and even younger, because the only way that these evil, power hungry Marxists can have power is by control and brainwashing.
Why they keep calling us Marxists and also fascists when they're actually the ones that are fascists and the Marxists and the socialists and the communists? Why do they call us that when we are nothing like them?
I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of them calling us communists because, I mean, they're communists. I think they
I
should almost admit it. They're socialists. Communists, maybe, but I've heard totalitarians. I heard fascists. They call us fascists all the time. Fascists for sure. Authoritarians. They're calling Trump an authoritarian. Trump is the authority of the people. He's doing what the people hired him to do. And they're saying, oh my God, he's authoritarian. He's the anti-authoritarian. He's the one saying, I was elected to get rid of the drugs from the border, to throw out the illegal aliens, to make sure boys are boys and girls are girls again, and to support American capitalism. And now these publications are saying, oh my God, America's rating on the authoritarian scale is way down now because he's doing what the American people want.
and that's
That's
what we
the opposite of
hired him for.
authoritarianism. That's called democracy in action.
And that's what we actually hired him for, but he don't even get paid because he give his money to charity.
That's
Why
right. He
are
gives money to
they
charity.
so why are they mad? Why are they the 20 to 15% that is ultra left, ultra they just hate America just because they why are they so angry?
Well, I can tell you the ultra left, statistically, we have the numbers on it. The ultra left, AOC, and this is the thing when you hear these people screaming and yelling and going crazy like a cornered rat.
Yes.
1% on the issues. We took the top 25 issues, asked everybody, we rated everybody in the country on all, borders and First Amendment and Second Amendment and taxes and school choice and environment, and elections and you name it, all the things that people care about. Where do you stand on the issues? It's 85-15. 15 to Democrats, 85 to Republicans, and that is proven. But the far left radicals, the ones that are in charge, that were in charge under Biden and AOC and all these whack jobs, they have 1%. Only 10% of Democrats support them.
Whoa.
Only 1% of Americans. So you have a tiny fringe. They actually remember the 1%. They keep saying the 1%. The left
The
will call the
rich.
1% of the
Yes.
people the rich. They're the real 1%ers. They have 1% support in the issues, yet they want to rule America with 1%. So they can only do it with extreme coercion, extreme coercion, and they're the fascists. They're the ones that are going to threaten everybody. So they're going crazy and they're mad because they're going to lose power and they only live for power and control. That's the only thing they exist for. So that's why they're going crazy. That's why they're mad because they hate America. They want America to be a one party state where they're in charge and there is no real democracy. They use that as a tool protecting democracy, but they don't want democracy. They want authoritarian rule over us. That's what they want. They're jealous of the Chinese Communist Party. They wish they could be. They wish that the American Democrat Party was as powerful and as iron-fisted as the Communist Chinese Party. That's what their ultimate goal is, to be just like the Communist Chinese Party.
Why? What? Here it is. Then they need to stop shouting democracy because we're a constitutional republic. And if they want a communist country, as they're trying to make us, then they all need to sit down. And it's a free land. This is a free era. They can go and live anywhere they want to live. And instead of trying to turn our republic into some kind of utopia that isn't even going to work.
Well, I agree with you. And I think the problem is, this is the problem. The Communist Chinese Party won't let in a white American to the Communist Chinese Party. I think these Democrats would love to be part of the Chinese Communist Party, and that's why they're probably hoping they'll get a good deal. That's why they're so pro-communist Chinese. They don't want the trade deals. They don't want these tariffs. They don't want to put China, knock them down a couple pegs from total world domination. The Democrats are counting on Chinese world domination, and they want to hold on to those. They want to hold on to that, they want to hold on to that rope and be like, oh, save me, pull me up and make me part of the Communist Chinese Party.
Oh my
Or
gosh.
make America a star on the flag of the Chinese Communist flag and add a star in there for America and let me rule America.
You ever seen
The American creative,
what is
the
it?
Chinese state of America. That's what the communist left wing wants.
When you said that, you ever seen the movie Red Dawn, the 80s
Yeah.
version and the 2012 version? Well, if you remember, who was sitting right beside our politicians when they took over the world? When they came in, dropped a dew on us, killed all the lights out in America, and started, with the Red Dawn. It was first of China, North Korea, and Russia. Now, if you look at BRICS, China and Russia is a part of BRICS. Now, I don't know if they brought in North Korea yet or not, but it seemed like these same people that want to take us from without is actually doing it from within, only because of our crooked politicians have gotten in bed and made money off them.
Yeah, exactly. It, it makes perfect sense when people understand, first of all, on the issues, they have no standing. And Americans, no matter how much they brainwash them on the issues, it's 85-15. So that's number one. Number two, how do they get control? Election fraud, manipulation,
Ooh.
pressure, stress, globalism. I mean, we were supposed to be part of this globalist empire, which would be the end of democracy in the world. We call ourselves a constitutional republic, but we do have democratic elements. Obviously, we elect our leaders. They don't want any part of actual democracy or republic. They want a Marxist globalist empire, and they want to be on that. They want to be that top 1%. They're 1% of control of power, and they actually only have 1% of support on the issues. So that's why they're shoving it down our throat. And it is pretty funny for them to scream about democracy when they try to get Trump off the ballot
Ouch.
for years. And the communists in the EU, which they're basically all communists right now, in France, Marie Le Pen is thrown off the ballot, throwing her in jail.
Yes.
They threw the guy, I believe, in jail in Romania that was leading before. Look what they did in Brazil, right?
Yes.
So they're taking out Trump-like populist leaders all over the map, and they say that they're for democracy. You can't make this up.
They're not for democracy. They for
It's
that
not.
new world order that was guaranteed. That's supposed to be, that should have came to fruition. With it not, and Donald Trump winning, how close, be honest, do you feel that we were from being a number on the globalist ticket?
I honestly don't believe we could have recovered from it short of an actual shooting civil war, and that's the last thing I wanted to see. That would have been a terrible thing for there to be an actual shooting civil war like 250 years ago. But we're coming up just 2 days ago on the 250th anniversary of the start of America, literally right outside my window, walking distance to the shots of the Civil War. in the Civil War, I'm sorry, the Revolutionary War in Lexington, Mass. So I think I don't know how we would have, I don't know what we could have done because this is the big picture. They would have stuffed the courts. They would have had if they had both houses of Congress and the White House, everything, they would have ended the filibuster, which means everything would sail through. HR 1 would be the end of elections because they'd federalize elections, eliminate all voter ID, and make, which would mean guaranteed no matter what, Democrats would win every election. So that would be it. Democrats would win every election. HR 1 would be installed. They probably would have arrested a lot. You and I, people like we'd probably be maybe going to jail right now because they already said, I mean, up to the election, you heard them say over and over, oh, those, those MAGA extremists, they have to be dealt with. They have to be shut down. They have to be disciplined. They have to be re-educated. Well, Hillary Clinton is saying we have to go to re-education camps for MAGA people. I think all that would have happened. And America would be absolutely, we'd just be a star on the Chinese flag.
Okay, Dave said we keep throwing up 2 fingers. John Paul, come on down here to the Georgia again. Okay then, John, because go ahead and end us out, close us out with Go USA, how people can find it, what help do you need, what are they going to learn, and then leave your credentials so everyone will be able to get in contact with you.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Thanks, and I'll say the big announcement I'll say is we helped 21 races cross the finish line in 2024. We reached 700. We reached millions of people with our social ads, but we did specific advertisements where we asked people to take the OpScore, Central Opportunity Score, the OpScore challenge, and all the issues that matter to you, the voter, and then simply line yourself up like a dating app. Take the OpScore challenge, match yourself up to the politicians. We rated every member of Congress and all their challengers, over 1,000 people, over 25 issues. It took thousands, hundreds, if not thousands of hours of time to do all that, to come up with the OpScore ratings for all these politicians. So now voters can have a simple, clean, and by the way, nonpartisan way to say, this is where I stand, this is where they stand. Forget about party. Who are we going to vote for? When we did that, over 60% of Democrats actually chose Republicans, and so did 83% of independents, and of course every Republican, which adds up to 85%. So we were able to help move hundreds of thousands of people to kind of change who they're going to vote for when they were going to vote for someone on the left, and they took the test and voted for a good guy, basically. So that's what our scoring system does. And our rating system called the OpScore. We need volunteers to help rate people.
Okay.
We are getting some help from Elon Musk Grok 3, some AI, good guys AI, to help us do the ratings on this next phase. Where we're going to be we're rating everybody in the federal level, and we're starting to look at state levels next. So this is the one way that we can win, even with all the Democrat fraud and all the Democrat election fraud and everything they do. If 85% of people can take this test and move over, we're not going to lose any elections unless they outright steal them 100%. So that's what we're doing. We could use help. We need donations. And we're going to be doing a tour in the fall called the Grand Opportunity America Tour, otherwise known as the GOAT Tour, like in sports, greatest of all time, where we're going to go and try to reach independents and moderate Democrats as well as Republicans all over, especially in places that are very tight races. And we believe we can help. Not this last election, we helped 20 in the Senate and the House, and President Trump. And we want to be able to help hundreds more this election next time around, because if Trump loses the majority in the House and the Senate, it's going to be a fight. They're going to go to impeachment. They're going to do everything they can to stop Trump. So we believe we have to make it our mission to make sure we help America stay America in 2026, which is just now a year and a half away.
A year and a half away, and let's try not to make him a lame duck, because they have meetings every morning of how to destroy the Trump administration. Now we need to have meetings on how to support it and continue to get it out there. So everybody, y'all stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break, and then Dave is going to bring on Juan once it reset itself. Thank you so much, John Paul, for coming on. I really appreciate it. Wish me luck and keep me in your prayers.
I wish you luck. You're in my prayers, and go to go-usa.us to find out more. Go USA, go-usa.us, and sign up, volunteer, donate, whatever you can to help our mission to save America.
Thank y'all so much. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. Go ahead, Dave.
Thanks.
Dear friends, family, and supporters, my name is Nadia Hamilton, Lucretia's niece. and I'm reaching out with an urgent plea to help save the home of Lucretia Hughes, a true American patriot, a devoted mother, and passionate advocate for freedom. Lucretia has faced unimaginable challenges, including the tragic loss of her son to gun violence in 2016. Yet she continues to fight for saving America, our veterans, and your Second Amendment rights with unwavering strength. We are launching this Give, Send, Go campaign to raise $350,000 to help Lucretia keep her home, provide stability for her family, and continue the messaging for our country. Your support can make a real impact. Lucretia has always been there for others, speaking out against injustice and supporting causes that matter. Now it is our turn to stand by her. Every donation, no matter how small, brings us closer to securing her home and giving her the peace of mind she deserves. Click the link below to contribute any amount you can. Every dollar counts. If you can't donate, please keep Lucretia and her family in your prayers. Spread the word by sharing this campaign on social media, with friends, and in your community. The more people who see this, the closer we get to our goal. Thank you for rallying around Lucretia in her time of need. Together, we can keep her home and continue her powerful work. Let's show her she's not alone in this fight.
Welcome back to the Real News with Lucretia Hughes. Give him a moment, Juan, and then David's going to send you an email so you'll be on. It kind of take a couple of minutes for it to reset itself, Zoom. So Juan Pico is coming on in next. And then welcome back, everybody. Like I said, y'all get over there, support me for the NRA convention. Cash App, Lucretia Hughes, 44. Cash App, Lucretia Hughes, 44. Cash App, Lucretia Hughes, 44. Appreciate it. All right, then. Hey there, Sherry. You on your way back home. Be safe. 10-2, girl. Rammy Swammy for governor for Ohio. Better than what you got up there now.